Hello and welcome to the Dissection of a Fantasy Team. We are going to count down the top 10 teams in a certain fantasy league. And just because you don't have any interest in this league, you have interest in the players if you're a fantasy baseball player. I'd like to thank you guys for giving me 1,000 views on my CBS video. So I know that you're here for great information, which you will get. You will get all kinds of entertainment, all kinds of information. You're going to see wild explosions. It'll be fantastic. Okay, maybe no wild explosions, but hey, roll the intro. Let's go. Who don't know, this is a 10-team head-to-head keeper league to the truest form. You keep everybody on your team. Not 3 keepers, not 5 keepers, not 7 keepers. You keep everyone. You even get 5 NA slots for guys who are not ready for the majors yet. And this league has existed for 10 years. And it is a very serious league. There's been members kicked out. There's been members brought in. There's been tires slashed, babies kidnapped, all kinds of crime. People at each other's throats at league meetings. It's unbelievable. So, the first team and the worst team, the 10th team in this review, Murderers Row. I'd also like to point out my Yankee attire, as the owner of Murderers Row is probably the biggest Yankee fan I know. I'd also like to show you my Alex Rodriguez jersey, and yeah, I know, he's a cheater. Nobody likes him. Well, guess what? So is your childhood hero. Get over it. All right. I mean, let's face it. 70% of the guys were probably using steroids in the 90s. So deal with it. All right. He cheated. So what? I mean, he's being chastised like he's the, I don't know, Satan or something. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, how much hate he gets. But hey, you love your Ben Roethlisbergers and your Kobe Bryants, don't you? Yeah, that's what I thought. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, moving on. Murderers Row finished in 9th place last year. I projected him to finish in 3rd place. Why was I so far off, and why did he finish 68 games out of 1st place? Well, he had a nucleus of angels last year. Pujols, Hamilton, and Trout. He traded away Pujols and Hamilton and did not get much because he sort of freaked out halfway through the season. Trout, he did get a decent boatload for, but not as much as he should have for trading Mike Trout. And that's why he's in the position that he is now. So, without further ado, let's go to our first segment, the bust of this team. Bust. The bust is going to be Jose Abreu, okay? Jose Abreu is projected as 120th Yahoo stat ranking guy. I don't care. His bat's too slow, okay? Yeah, maybe he can hit home runs in the other league, and I know he hit more home runs than Cespedes, and I don't care. I don't care. He's going to be okay. He's going to hit 20 home runs. He's going to hit 250, but big fat hairy deal. You can go find someone on the free agent list that puts up those kind of numbers. Jose Abreu, bust for Murderers Row. If we're going to do the bust, you know what that means. We got to do the sleeper. Now, the sleeper for this team is Mike Moustakas. He's finally going to come into his own. He's ripping it up in the minor leagues. He's finally figured it out. He is going to have a breakout season this year. So, there you go. Sleeper for Murderers Row, Mike Moustakas. As I keep the segues fluent, I like to call this players who should not be owned. No fantasy for you. No, none. Yeah, he's got a lot of these. Marcell Ozuna. Anyway, Marcell Ozuna. Okay? You should not own any Miami Marlin who is not named Giancarlo Stanton as far as offensive potential. Okay? Sorry. Marcell Ozuna, not good enough to be on any fantasy team unless it's a huge, deep, NL only league, maybe. But no, not in this league. Marcell Ozuna shouldn't be owned. Nick Franklin. Nick Franklin might not even have a position. If he gets traded, then he has fantasy value, but I don't think he's going to hit the field enough to play. It's not that I don't like Nick Franklin that much. It's just that I don't think he's going to get the ABs now with the whole Cano trade that Seattle has. And finally, all of his starting pitchers. Every single one of them, except maybe Jake Peavy, who we just picked up. He's okay. Liriano, I am way down on, okay? He is not going to stay healthy and go 16-8 again, okay? Sorry, you don't get back-to-back years out of like that from Liriano. So yes, all of his starting pitchers, no. And we'll cover more of them later on.
10 questions with Sean.
Thank you for that fabulous introduction, Jason. I'm very excited to be a part of this program, and yes, my name is in capital letters, damn right. That's the way it should be. Yes, let's get started. Number 9, is Hunter Pence a top 10 fantasy player?
Hunter Pence is a top 75 fantasy baseball player. Is he a top 10 fantasy baseball player? Absolutely not. He had a career year last year. He usually doesn't stay that healthy. He usually, because of his hard play, he usually hurts himself here and there, gets on the DL list, once or twice. Nothing serious, just like 15-day DLs, So, yeah, he's a top 75 player, but he's not a top 10 player, no.
Number 9, is the Ventura kid for Kansas City worth keeping?
In Murderer's Row case, yes, Ventura is worth keeping for the future. He will be a starting rotation caliber guy. This year, I'm not even sure if he's going to start the team on the majors. Maybe he will in that 8th inning role, but that's sort of up in the air. That's not definite. So it depends on your situation and your team.
Number 8, which starter with the name who starts with J should be gotten rid of? Jared Parker, Jacob Turner, Jeff Locke, Jeff Loco. I don't know which is Jake Oderaji or Jamie Garcia, or is it Yami Garcia? I don't know any of these names. Which of those should be gotten rid of by Motiverse Row?
He dropped one of those guys. He picked up Jake Peavy now, so there's another Jake for you. Jake Peavy he should keep. All the rest of them, no, get rid of. They're terrible. They're just not good enough. Sorry.
You provided me with this list. Oh, I'm sorry. Jake Peavy instead. Jerk.
Sorry, Sean. I mean, that move was just made today. Late notice. I apologize.
Number 7. Do you like his Red Sox left side of the infield?
I have a love-hate relationship with the left side of the infield with the Red Sox. I love Bogarts. I hate Middlebrooks. There you go.
Number 6. What do you think of Michael Pineda? Oh, Pineda.
That's a good question. He hasn't pitched in 2 years, essentially. That's my issue with him. I don't think he's someone you want to own this year, but he might be someone you want to own by the end of the year, going into next year, because I think it's going to take him a little bit to figure out how to pitch again. I don't think, because he wasn't just the most amazing pitcher in the history of the world before, and he's pitching in Yankee Stadium. It's not a great place to pitch. So I'm more of a 2015 Michael Pineda guy, not a 2014 Michael Pineda guy.
Number 5. What do you think of his stellar bullpen?
Ooh, would we say stellar? I don't know about that.
Don't you dare sash me, young man. Once again, you provided me with these questions. I will come down on you like an Indiana Jones whip. Do not think I will not.
Hey, Sean, I'm just trying to make this video more entertaining, okay? Listen, he's got a strong bullpen. He's got Benoit and Street, so one of those guys is going to close, the other one's going to get the holds. He's got Smiley, Ventura. He's got enough guys that get holds. So, yeah, he's gonna win holds, which is a category in this league. But he only has 2 closers. Whichever Padres guy closes, and the money closer he's got the Dodgers closer, Jensen. Yeah, that's great. But that's two closers isn't enough to win in this league in head-to-head saves. So no, it's not stellar. It's just not good enough.
Number 4, will all of his amazing NA guys who will be coming up at the end of the year matter to make Murderers Row a competitive team towards the end of 2014?
No, he will not be competitive enough by the end of the season for it to matter. I mean, even if these guys do come up, which is still questionable, by that time he's so far out of the playoffs, it's a non-issue. So no, it's not going to matter.
Number 3, so you are saying that Murderers Row has no chance to compete in 2014? Number 2, do you have anything good to say about this team whatsoever?
Yes, he should be very good at holds. He should win holds very often.
And the number 1 question, do we have to let Ira have his own segment in this show? Do we really have to? Do we have to?
Yes, Sean, unfortunately we do. So here you go. This segment I like to call Ira's Island.
Ira's Island.
Okay, so let me get this straight. Connery gets his name in capital letters, and I get pink font and a sad, depressing theme song. I don't see how that's fair at all. But anyway, back to the subject matter here. Murderer's Row. Okay, I'm not trying to be contrarian. Do I think he has a great fantasy team? Of course not. I'm not that ridiculous. But just bear with me here. He recognized his faults from last season. He made his team a lot younger, and he has hope. All he has to do is hang around that 8 seed situation, even though there's not 8 seeds in the playoffs, eight teams, 8th place. And then when his teams come up, when his guys come up, Carlos Correa, Byron Buxton, and Archie Bradley, when those guys get to the majors, okay, there you go. When they get called up halfway through the season, boom, there he is. He's competing. His team's just as good as some of those other bottom teams there, and he can sneak into the playoffs. Of course, in a perfect world. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. But hey, whatever. It's at least he's got a game plan. Okay, he's not near as bad as we think he is. So yeah, that's my piece, and I should have some sort of cool catchphrase to end this. So this is Ira from Ira's Island, signing off. A cool walk off. Watch it. Yeah. I don't know, Ira. Maybe I'm being too hard on him. I mean, at least he has a game plan. He's got the future all mapped out. But, I mean, I think the problem is that he thinks he's going to compete now. I mean, that's why he picked up the Abreu's and the Jeters of the world. He thinks he's actually going to make the playoffs now. It's just not happening. I mean, Leonis Martin's going to steal bases for him. Castellanos will be an okay player now, but his future's ahead of him. He's not ready yet to be a key player on a good fantasy team. Correa and Buxton and Bradley are all maybe possibly going to come up later on. But, here's the issue. When 3 of your top 4 offensive players are San Francisco Giants, which is bad enough so as it is, but Posey, Belt, and Pence, that's just not good enough. And the 4th guy is Bruce, and Bruce is really good. Bruce is a top 35, 40 offensive guy, but it's just not as good as the other 9 teams in this league. And, I mean, you've got Aaron Hill as your 5th best offensive player, Mr. 300 at-bats. It's not going to work for him. And not to mention his offense is that bad, but his pitching's even worse. I mean, Liriano's his best starter, and he was 16-8 last year, and he will not be healthy enough to do that 2 years in a row. He never is. So ultimately, this team's just not good enough. Bottom line, it's the worst team, and there's 9 that are better than him. But the future reviews will have a lot better players, so you all should look forward to seeing that. So there you go. Murderer's Row, 10th worst team in this league, but number 9 is significantly better. I think there's a huge drop-off between 9 and 10. So, hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time for number 9. See you later, bye.